Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the GRoW program. Thank you for growing with me on today. What we're going to do is grow in God for a better way. We're not going to focus on the negativity. We ain't going to focus on the negativity, honey. We're going to put emphasis on the fact that God is moving. So we're going to put emphasis on the Lord, honey. Look at what God doing. I know what the oppression is doing, but look what God doing. We are growing. We growing in the Lord. Hey, I know, hey, you. You turn back and look at the oppression. Hey, you over there. Turn around here. Turn from the spiritual warfare. It's trying to take you there. It's trying to get you caught up. See, that's what it is. See, look. You ride down the road, honey, on this highway of life. You're on a 2-lane road, double yellow line. You know what that means. Everybody know double yellow line, honey. You can't cross that. You can't cross that. But what they do, get behind you, run you down. You ain't going fast enough. They want you to speed up so you can get caught up, with them pretty blue lights, pretty blue and red lights, be flash like Christmas, but it ain't Christmas. Don't be Christmas. But anyway, they want to see you get caught up, honey. So when you don't go fast enough, see, because you got to slow your roll, stay in your lane. See what the police told me, when he pulled me over in my work bus, with the passenger on there. He said, slow your roll, and I had to listen. I remember him. I remember what he said. State man, honey. He could have cut up and clown with me out there. He could have had all kind of He could have showed up and showed out. Because, see, I didn't have a police officer do that to me. It was a sister, honey, Queen. She pulled me over just because I was, going about 5 miles over. She said I was 5 miles over the speed limit. Honey, she had all kind of backup all behind it. She put a show out there. And what they were doing back there, laughing and talking while I'm sitting there waiting. I don't know what you waiting for. I'm a bus driver. I already know everything good with me. Just let me go. But see, it's all about the show. Sometimes you got to put up. But see, he didn't do that to me, and I gotta tell you, Caucasian King, he didn't do that to me. He just told me slow your roll. Just slow down. You're going too fast. And I was nice. You can't. How you going? I was wrong. So if you know you're wrong, how you gonna get mad because you wrong? I was wrong. I know I was speak. I was trying to get her home so I can get home. I told you how I drove the bus safely, but honey, we was rolling, honey. We was on. I'm telling you, honey, them passengers got on there and they got on there and they know, buckle up, let's go. It's time to roll. And well, I gotta tell you, God is good. I learned, slow your roll. So look, on this highway of life, they'll get behind you. Honey, they'll run you down. They will run you down. And then then they'll go past you. And see, as they going past you, they look at you. See what you do, don't look at them. See, because you already know they're in the wrong anyway. So what you gonna look over there for? Keep your eyes on the prize, because, see, they already in the wrong, so they got something else for you. They got a finger for you or something else you be looking at. Some silver metal thing you might be looking. You never know, might pull over in front of you. So just let them go ahead and go. See, because they on this highway of life running down folks. And sure enough, on down the road, on down the way, they'll cause a traffic jam in their life or somebody else's life, Or maybe I can catch up to them and tell them to grow. It's time to grow, honey. I can't shout it out the window. I can't holler who rolling down next to me. Grow. Hey, grow. But I can shout it out to the world. I shout it out. That's what I do. Roll the window down, shout it out to the world. It's time to grow. It's God's time. But see, if he rolling down, on the double yellow line, he already in the wrong. So who am I? He say he on the road and he can do it like that. You go ahead. You go head on. But see, I know different. I know it's somebody who say you can't do that. But who am I? I'm not the po-pos. I can tell you to grow. I can tell you, yeah, grow. Grow head on. I'm letting you grow. You think you growing as you crossing the double yellow line, honey, because I did that once. I got in the turning lane to go around somebody. I got pulled over. It's always me. See, but I know, and on down the way, honey, look, we got to watch how we do, folks. We got to watch how we do, people, on this highway of life, how we running down folks, how folks running down us, trying to get nowhere. They ain't going nowhere, honey, but they rolling. You see, they rolling by. They rolling so fast, you better hurry up, get up in there and turn up in that parking lot. Might hit the curb getting up in there because, see, they own you so. They just own you down, running you down. Woo. Defensive driving. defensive driving. You just got to get out there and drive like you driving for everybody. Because that's exactly what you're doing. You drive for everybody. Because see, at my job, they told us you better not tear up they bus, things happen though. Stuff happen, and accidents happen. That's why pencils come with erasers. That's why they got whiteout. That's why they got chalkboards with erasers. You better erase that stuff off. Clean that chalkboard off. Clean it off. Time to write again. It's time to go again. You messed that up. That problem messed up. You getting ready to fix it. Here come God coming in with the fix. God got the fix. God got it. The fix is in, honey. The fix is in. We grow in. The fix is in. You hear me? You better go tell it. Go tell it. Go run tell that. The fix is in. We grow in. We growing in God. We rising up. Give me the side. We rising up, lifting up, linking up, locking up. And I'll tell you something. I'm passing the side as far as I can get. I see you, Pennsylvania. Keep on growing in God, honey. Keep on growing. I love you. Start sowing love too. Sow some love out there, Pennsylvania. Come on. Help lift up. Help link up, lock up. Come on. We growing up. We gonna grow over this oppression. We growing over. We ain't growing with it. We growing over. So that means GRoW, grow. That O got to go down, honey. That O going down. We growing over. That's what it's going to be. That O going down. That O ain't going to rise with me. Oppression ain't rising with me. Oppression going down. I'm driving it out. I'm going to box it away for a better day. I'm telling you, I came out to defeat oppression, honey. My baby picture, I got the fists up, the bottom, the lip tucked in, the bottom lip. I'm ready. I'm ready for the oppression. I'm ready to get the box. I'm ready to get it on, honey. Me and oppression. People gonna rise. The people been under oppression. Oppression is cruel and unusual treatment over years. Now look, we have the opportunity to do better for ourselves. We are the author of our destiny. Yes, there are systematic injustices. Yes, we see this. Yes, we see that. Yes, we know this. Yes, we know that. Horrible things that still go on, that are still going on right now in the jails and the prisons. And then you're talking about rehabilitating somebody. You put them in there and you treat them like an animal. Then you put them back out to the world and think they're supposed to be rehabilitated. How do you rehabilitate someone when you're locking them down 23 hours a day? How do you rehabilitate someone when you feed them slop every day? How do you rehabilitate someone when you give them no access to job training? How do you rehabilitate someone when you don't give them no type of counseling? They in there fighting. They in there scrapping. I'm telling you, it's horrible, horrible stuff that I realize is going on, honey. So here I am using my platform to make a difference, because I'm telling you, as we grow, they gonna right the wrongs. WRITE, the wrong. See, they stand there all day. Yes, we did this. Yes, they did that. Oh, the Tuskegee. You can talk about all this stuff. Yeah, the government did this. Yep, the president, Bill Clinton, stood there with tears in his eyes, apologizing for Tuskegee. What happened with Tuskegee. But see, it's some other wrongs that have went on that haven't been addressed. There's some oppression going on. Okay, you have the CIA. You say that the CIA, and I understand this is an agency. They can't keep everything out. They can't do it all. They just can't do it all. Okay, but we know the drugs went in. The drugs tore up the communities. The communities, not one, communities. Many of them, the drugs went in, tore up the community. Okay, now, what are we going to do to rebuild the community? What are we going to do to help the people rise in the community? Okay, we could push out the vaccine. That's a beautiful thing. Push out the vaccine, help people stay healthy. Okay, now what else can we do in the community? Like job training. See, we got liquor stores and churches everywhere. Got them too. Okay, what can we do beyond churches and liquor stores in the community constantly being built up? What can we do to help folks? Storages everywhere. They put storages everywhere. If you notice that, a lot of storages are popping up because a lot of people are becoming homeless. So what can we do to build up in the community? To help folks out instead of building up a bunch of storages for homeless people to put their things. What can we do as far as job training? People say they hiring, but you put applications in, ain't nobody calling back. I know I'm putting applications in myself. So honey, stuff is just steady rising. Inflation, things are going up. So what are we doing for the community? The bills that's got to go through to help the people, to help get it going. See, because these people, it's a set of people that's got it going on. But look, now we got folks down in the community, people who voted, hardworking folks, who voted to get some certain folks in who said they were going to do a certain thing. But once they get in, it erupts into a clown show, and so some folks thought that they could just run up in there as clowns, climbing all on the walls, 3-ring circus going on down here, down below the steps. You got the man here, he trying to get the people away, but you trying to help save some folks, lawmakers. He in there trying to save lawmakers who already orchestrated this mess in the first place. They helped orchestrate it, help get it going. So and he don't even, unbeknownst to him, he trying to save their life. Because see, once them people run up in there, they lawmaker, that's it. You a lawmaker, you gone. That's why they were running and hiding too. Jim Jordan, all them, they was running and hiding. GOP, you down with them, you down with OP, GOP, you down with GOP, okay. Well, see, there you went, honey. I'm telling you, think you run up in the Capitol building just like that? Okay. Well, we getting ready to find out. She said she wasn't going to jail. We getting ready to find out. You went, she going. If she done gone reading up books and stuff, what it's like to be locked down, what it's like to be, just go in there and find out. It ain't what you heard, it ain't what you read. Where I was at in the camp, honey, people in there trying to do their little time to get out and get back to their families. That's what it is. But see, now you done brought all this attention on yourself, honey. So, you better get in there and make the best and pray. Turn to God. See, because ain't no supreme beings walking on this earth. It don't matter what your hair color is. Ain't no supreme beings walking on this earth. You do wrong, you got to give an account. So there it is. See, now you learn the hard way. You used to think it used to be like that. It was like that one where you really could do just about anything you wanted to do. But honey, look, we growing. Look, it's time out for that. It's time out for foolishness. We only here for a season. Ain't nobody supreme walking on this earth. It ain't no supreme beings. Besides God and the Holy Spirits that roam this earth to and fro just like the evil do. Evil people allow evil to use them. It's time, honey. It's time out for that. You can become a tool of evil or you can become a tool of God. Allow God to use you to get to the breakthrough because, see, as long as you allow evil gonna follow you. You just a part of the problem. You just all in it. You just all everywhere. But look, now, honey, it's time to step over here. It's time to turn for a better way. It's time to renunciate. It's time to change yourself. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. You grow over the oppression. Don't grow with the oppression. Oppression ain't rising with you. You gonna grow over it. It's time for you to grow over the oppression for the breakthrough. I told you we on a journey over here, honey. This is God's journey. Grow. It's God's journey. The whole GRoW story is for God's glory. To lift the Lord as people sit there and think all this evil impression is everywhere. Where is God? Where is God? What God? God just allowed this. And then people got to where they don't even want to believe in God. They done left God. God, I don't want to hear about God. They done left God. So, honey, took God out to school. Took God out. God ain't even in the school no more. Send God to school with your children. That's what you do. Send God to school with your children. Just like them children stood there. Those high schoolers, I salute them. You know, who walked out of school and say, if we don't have genuine equality and righteousness in here, we ain't going. Yo, we don't want to be here. Y'all can't get it right. Y'all adults, you can't get it right. So a certain group of kids can come to school in peace. We trying to learn. We trying to study. We trying to go on to the next grade. We trying to grow. We trying to grow in our lives, but this is hindering us. This is holding us back. I'm telling you, sit there and take an example from a child. Listen to a child, honey. Children have a lot of wisdom. Some children are taught hate. So it's time out. You know, African Americans and Africans have touched too many lives. We have touched too many lives, honey. Too many achievements, so many accomplishments. But, you know, there's a certain small waning group of people who think that they're supreme over others. And even the president stood there at the podium. The first president I've ever heard to say it stood there and said, I want to end white supremacy. I want it to end. I want to end white supremacy. So, kings and queens, keepers of the dream, we're going to keep rolling on full steam. To genuine equality and righteousness shall flow like a mighty stream. On this love, peace, and soul train, honey, we rolling on for a better way. We rolling on for tomorrow today because our children are looking at us. What we going to do, when we going to do it, how we going to do it, what we going to do with it, and when we going to get there. You ain't there yet. You know, might wake up out they sleep. You still ain't there. You know, I'm telling you. Kids be on you. So, honey, look, God is on us. So I'm telling you, God is the manipulating, dominating, controlling force in our life. So we got to grow with God, honey, because the children are looking at us. What you going to do? I'm telling you, they looking at us, honey. They'll remind you, you said such and such. So see, when they ask you what you going to do, tell them we going to grow. That's what we going to do. We going to grow in God. We going to keep growing. You going to grow. I'm going to grow. We going to grow to the breakthrough. We going to keep on growing, trusting in God, giving it over to God. Bo knows it's time to grow. You know, so that's what we doing. We growing in God over here, honey. As for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. You know, all up under all kind of foolishness over there in that haunted house. All kind of foolishness. I was dealing with him, honey. But God was right there in the middle of it with me, honey. And I leaned to God. I held on to God, my daughter too. You know, as the evil and she was telling me, because I didn't say anything to her. You know, I didn't tell her about it because I didn't want to scare her. But I knew the house was haunted. And she came and told me one day, you know, exactly what was happening to her at the kitchen sink and what was happening to me too. I felt a demon in my face. And she just clung to God. I told her, you know, we was praying, huh? We clung to God. And God gave us strength over evil. Because, see, I told her not to be afraid. You know, don't. I was in there by myself because I had to be. If I wasn't in there by myself, I was gone cheating somewhere. You know, he called and I wasn't there and he knew. So I had to be up in that haunted house and he didn't want to hear nothing about no ghosts. He didn't want to hear anything because he was scared himself. He didn't want to hear nothing and he never stayed in there alone. If I left and he was in there alone, he wouldn't go there. He kept on going. You know, he was scared. And when I told him about that water running down the wall where ain't no pipes at, you know, he jumped up with his plate and ran in the other room. So I was left alone to deal with those demons. You know, it wasn't nobody, everybody I called, they already knew because I dealt with haunted houses before. So I couldn't get no answers from my family. You know, I'm constantly in the good book, left the good book open, just left it open, you know, just left the Bible open. But honey, I'm telling you, I rose with God. My baby rose with God. See, because look, we could have let the evil overtake us. You know, we could have, you know, been over there with the evil doing evil. But honey, I rose with God. God already had a plan for me. God told me, for I know the thoughts for you I have. Thoughts of good, not of evil, to give you an expected end. So here's my expected end, growing in God. See, I was on the radio. I was nationwide. Now I'm worldwide in 61 countries and growing and sowing and lifting and rising. Here we grow, kings and queens. We on the come up. We overcoming, kings and queens. We overcoming this oppression. Greatness reached over our oppression through when we growing over. We growing over. We ain't growing with the oppression. We growing over it. So I got to show you. We growing over it. God bless you as you grow.